Hey all, welcome to my channel. This story about what Fanatic can see ghosts. Let's start.
Kyubi attack. Konoha Hospital I'm sorry Kushina-chan. I hope you'll forgive me someday. Minato said, holding his newborn son in his arms, then vanished in a yellow flash. You bring my son back to me unhurt Jiraiya, or I swear to Kami I'll kill you. Kushina said in a tired, but cold voice. Jiraiya nodded and leapt out the open window. A few minutes later Kushina heard a massive explosion, a few moments of silence, then cheering. She smiled proudly as tears ran down her cheeks. He did it. Ak. No. Now. Please, just let me. Kushina said as she felt it, then collapsed, dead. The monitor let out a long, high-pitched tone. She stood, took a few steps, then several nurses ran by her. She turned around and gasped when she saw herself laying in the hospital bed, then Jiraiya appeared in the wind. Holding her son, and carefully dropped into the room, shock and then sadness on his face. Without thinking she ran to them, reached for her son and her hands passed them. I'm dead. Kushina said sadly. She watched, almost blankly as they tried to revive her, only to finally give up. She turned to the door when she heard two familiar voices. Kakashi Hatake, her husband's only living student, and Sarutobi, the retired third Hokage. What happened? Sarutobi said, hiding his sadness. There was a complication, Hokage-sama. There was nothing we could have done. The nurse in charge said. Tsunade could have saved her. I could have brought her back for this. She would have come for Kushina and Minato. You know how she felt about them. Jiraiya said. Sarutobi very subtly flnched and he nodded. He knew he should have sent Jiraiya to bring her back. Unknown to him, or anyone else, fists were passing through his head in speed that truly defied description. Were she still alive, the unmatched ki Kushina was releasing would have killed every living thing within 100 yards of her from sheer terror. What everyone in the room failed to notice, including Kushina, was that baby Naruto was shaking slightly. July 28, 8:04 a.m., Konoha Park, Naruto age 5 Seeing the older boy smile at him as he was walking past him, he decided this person didn't hate him like everyone else did. Where ya goin'? Naruto said cheerfully. The 14-year-old Chunin boy stopped when he realized the little blonde boy was not only talking to him, but looking at him. You talking to me? He asked, genuinely stunned. Sure am, so where ya goin'? Naruto said. To see a friend, but how can you see me? He asked Politelti. Naruto laughed. That's a dumb question. You're standing right there. Naruto said, highly amused. He ran this through his mind a moment, then smiled. This was too good to be true. How would you like to help me? I want to pull a prank on a good friend of mine and you. Only person that can help me do it. So what's your name, kid? He said. Naruto Uzumaki. What's your name, and why do you have bandages over your eye? Naruto said. Just to injury, it doesn't hurt. I'm a leaf shinobi, see? He said and pointed to the Hitai on his forehead. Cool. Naruto said excitedly. Come on, if we want to catch him we have to go now, and my name is. He said and he starting walking with Naruto, who either didn't know, or didn't mind, he was a GH. Naruto didn't know he wouldn't tell him, he didn't want to scare him. 8:16 a.m. Konoha Hero Memorial Excuse me, are you Kakashi? Naruto said as he approached the man with the spiky silver hair, black clothes and green vest. Kakashi spun around, he'd almost been caught off guard. Who are you? You shouldn't be here. Kakashi said firmly but politely to the kid in the orange jumpsuit. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and someone told me to tell you to, what was it again? Naruto said looking up to his right. Kakashi looked at the blonde boy who seemed to be talking to someone that wasn't there. Something about him was very familiar though. Thanks. He told me to tell you to get your head out of your butt, and that you didn't fail him, you ugly scarecrow. Naruto said. Kakashi's visible right eye got as big as a saucer. Who told you to tell me that? Kakashi said, trying to compose himself. Naruto looked to his right a moment then laughed. Why should I tell you? Needle nose. Naruto said. Kakashi stumbled backward and tripped over the 2 feet memorial stone. You okay? Naruto said. I'm fine. Kakashi said, then stood. Naruto sighed almost sadly. Okay. If you want to. He said, I can tell you. Really? He said, I'll tell you anything you wanna know if you'll buy me breakfast. Naruto said, Big smile. He could taste it already. Deal. Where do you want to eat? Kakashi said. == 9:10 a.m. Ichiraku ramen == With a sigh, Kakashi put a stack of bills on the counter. He'd nearly emptied his wallet. How a little kid could eat so much food was beyond him, but he had to know how Na knew what he did, and why everything about him was so familiar. He knew he was forgetting something. Now that you ate, we're going to talk. Where to? Kakashi said. Naruto shrugged. Okay. Thanks, Tsuki-san. Ayame-chan. Follow me. Naruto said, hopped off his stool and left. Kakashi followed him out. Dad, don't you think Naruto is a little weird the way he sometimes talks to people that aren't there? I know some little kids have imaginary friends, but Naruto-kuns are different, especially because some of the things he says could only be from someone older than me. Ayame said. You may be 12, but you didn't grow up like he did. So he talks to imaginary people. I thinks he's pretty well adjusted considering he's been on his own since he was foe. Tsuki said. Ayame nodded. == 9:31 a.m. Naruto's secret training spot == Here we are. He said to bring you somewhere no one would see us, so I brought you here. This is my secret place so you can't tell anyone about it, promise. Naruto said. Hi. I promise. Now, tell me what you know. Kakashi said. Naruto turned to the dark-haired boy. I'm not supposed to do this, but I know you're a ghost. I promised I wouldn't tell, but I can do something special and for it to work. Have to tell you. Kakashi, promise me you won't tell anyone what I can do. Naruto said, visibly nervous. I'll promise, but there's one person that has to know. Kakashi said. Hokage-sama. Naruto interrupted. Okay. But not until tomorrow. There's someone else I have to talk to first. Okay. Naruto said. Deal. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meet me at the tower. Kakashi said. Okay. Here goes. Naruto said. Then made a cross-finger hand sign. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto said, and a clone appeared in a puff of smoke. This sounds weird. Want you to step into my clone. You'll be fine, I've done this before. What rank are you? Then you should have about 10 minutes, from what I was told. Naruto said. Despite all his experience, this was getting close to being too much even for him to handle. Then the clone started shaking, like it was in pain, then his right eye almost popped from his head when it physically changed into a very familiar person, clothes and all. Whoa, now that was a weird experience. Hey Kakashi, long time no see. Obito said with a smile. Obito. But how? Kakashi said in shock. I don't understand it either, but Naruto can see ghosts it seems. Obito said. Only if they were ninja. Naruto interrupted. Then both men looked at him. I can only see people that were ninja. It's because of their chakra. I'll let you talk alone, I'll be there. Naruto said then walked away. I don't know if we have the time he told me, so let's get to it. I've been watching you Kakashi and you have to stop feeling so damn guilty. You did everything you could. I my time and you can't change that. You've mourned long enough. Now get you head out of your ass and stop pissing away your life. I gave you my eye to help you, so stow shitting on my gift, because frankly Kakashi you're really pissing me off the way you've been living since my funeral. Obito said strongly. Kakashi wanted to argue, but he just couldn't do it. He knew his friend was right. Sorry Obito. I've lost so many friends and that's why he's so familiar. Obito smiled. Took you long enough. He is, but you know you can't say anything. It took me a few minutes to make the connection, but the blonde hair is a dead giveaway. Looks just like Sensei as a kid. Obito said. == 9:43 a.m. == Thanks. Naruto. If you ever need anything, just ask. I do have a question though. When he's using your clone? Kakashi said. I don't get their memories. Naruto interrupted. Thanks. You look tired. I give you a lift home. Kakashi said. Sure. I live at the Motomi apartments. Naruto said. Kakashi nodded, put a hand on Naruto's shoulder and they vanished in a swirl of leaves. Naruto's apartment Naruto unlocked his door, went in, shut it behind him, locked it and put the key back in his pocket. I'm back, Hokara-chan. Naruto called out tiredly as he headed to the Kosh walked out of the guest room in a black trimmed red kimono and sandals, her bright red hair hung almost to her ankles. She smiled at him, her green eyes sparkling happiness. Welcome home, Naruto-kun. I felt it. You did it for someone, didn't you? Hokara said, a little worried. She knew what a strain it put on even his chakra to do WHWAS out. Naruto flopped on the couch on his back. Yes. I saw him in the park. He was going to see a friend who knew him before. Kakashi Hatake. Hokara silently gasped nervously. Was the ghost named Obito Uchiha? Yes. He was only in control 10 minutes, but it really wore me out. I even had 8 bowls of ramen. Kakashi took me out to breakfast first. It was Obito's idea. Naruto tiredly. She thought for a few moments, her mind racing. Did it help Kakashi to talk to his friend? Hokara said. Hi. I let them talk by themselves. You told me not to listen to people talking, so I went to the other side of the clearing. Oh. I kinda have to meet Kakashi at the Tower Eye morning to talk to Gigi about what I can do. Are you mad? Naruto said, nervously. No. I knew this would happen eventually. I was hoping to have a few more years though. I won't have you lying to him, so tell him the truth, but don't mention me or especially Kyuubi, who you aren't supposed to know about yet, and they aren't ready for what really happened 5 years ago or why Kyuubi really attacked Konoha. If you have to mention me, give them my name and that I've been training you for the last year, but don't describe me or tell them I'm a ghost using your shadow clone as a body. Prom. Me. Hokara said firmly. Hi. I promise, Hokara-chan. I'm going to take a nap. Wake me for lunch, okay? Naruto said as he got up. Hi. Hokara said. It was only for 6, sometimes 8 hours a day, 4 to 6 days a week, but she truly enjoyed every second she could spend with her son, even if only as a soromother and sensei. He just wasn't ready to know she was his real mother. She went back to her room to work on the seals. She knew she was no seal master, but she did some talent for it as she found out and was glad she'd made Minato teach her about them. About 6 minutes later she felt the chakra surge from the special seal tag on her as it tapped into Kyuubi's chakra. If she hadn't come up with it she'd still dispel when Naruto went to sleep. She knew who could help her, but Naruto's meeting tomorrow. Sarutobi had potential. If there was anyone Sarutobi would summon for help, it was him. Sunset. Hokage Monument He'd been sitting there all day staring out at Konoha and thinking about what had happened that morning. He'd gone over his entire life, in detail, countless times, and come to one conclusion. He was right. I'm a asshole. I need to get out of the hole I dug for myself and move on. Kakashi said, then laughed hard for several minutes. I listened to them when I had the chance. They kept telling me if I didn't get my head out of my ass it'd get stuck and I'd lose them both. Oh Kami, did I fuck up? Those that follow the rules are trash, but those that abandon their friends are less than trash. I should have taken my own advice. No more. Tomorrow Kakashi Hatake is reborn. July 29th, 7:55 a.m. Hokage Tower Naruto walked into the waiting room and waved at the secretary when she saw him. You're here to see Hokage-sama with Kakashi-san. He made the appointment yesterday morning. Please have a seat, Naruto. She said. Naruto shrugged, smiled and took a seat by the wall. A few minutes later he saw 2 people leave the old man's office. The first was a kunoichi he didn't know, the second only he could see. He watched them walk past, then the purple-haired lady in the trenchcoat stopped. You staring at me, brat? She said, strongly. Naruto glanced to the purple-haired lady's right, and laughed. he couldn't hold it in. Really? At her age? Naruto said, then broke out laughing hard. Who the hell are you talking to? What's so damn funny, and do you know who I am? She said. Naruto took a few deep breaths to calm himself, then looked at the ghost next to the lady. Your name is Anko Mitarashi. Special Jonin. You have a tattoo of a snake on left arm. Naruto said, then blushed. I can't say that. Can you come closer? I'm supposed to tell you something, but I can't say it out loud. This kid was confusing the hell out of her. He kept looking to her left like someone was there, and just generally acting weird, but she had to find out what was going on, so walked up and leaned down close. Spill it, brat. I don't like people messing with me. I've crippled people for doing less than what you've done. Anko said. I don't totally understand it, but I'm not allowed to use these words. I'm supposed to tell you that you've never shaved your pussy. That's a kunai, not a dildo, and I was laughing because when you're alone you sleep with a small stuffed purple bunny called Mr. Fuzzyhead. Naruto whispered. At the shaved comment, Anko's eyes got bigger. By the time the blonde kid said the name of her stuffed bunny she'd had since she was 3 and was her only possession from childhood before she became his apprentice. Most shocking was the simple fact that there were only 8 people in the world that even knew about it, and not one of them will mention it. Not even the Hokage, who was one of them. It was basically an S-ranked secret done for her as a favor by the 3rd Hokage when he was still 3rd Hokage. When finished, she was almost chalk white. Swallowing the huge lump in her throat, she got on her knees. How do you know that about me? Anko whispered. That's kinda why I'm here. Me and Kakashi have an appointment at 8 with Gigi. You can join us if y'all want to. Naruto said. A moment later the door opened and Kakashi walked in, right on time. They're here, Hokage-sama, she said. Send them in. Came back on the intercom. I think I will. Anko said almost blankly, stood and followed Kakashi and the blonde kid into his office. He watched Kakashi walk in, followed by Naruto as he expected, but he was a little surprised to see Anko walk back in behind them. She hid it well, but he could tell she'd been emotionally shaken to her very core. Only Naruto could have that kind of effect on someone. Have a seat, Naruto. What is this about? Sarutobi said calmly, then pipe. I had a strange experience yesterday. It seems Naruto has a very unusual ability. Kakashi said. The 3rd looked at Naruto curiously a moment. Please explain. Naruto sighed loudly. I can see and talk to ghosts. Naruto said casually. The pipe fell from Sarutobi's mouth and clanked on the desk as his jaw dropped. At least I can if they were ninja. It has something to do with them being able to use chakra before they died. Naruto said. While Kakashi and Anko just stared at Naruto, Sarutobi composed himself. That last line sounded a bit over his head. An adult, likely a shinobi, told him that. The question. Who's been helping you, Naruto? You couldn't have figured this out on your own. I can see it on your face. You're hiding something. Kakashi. I want to know exactly what happened yesterday. Sarutobi calmly commanded. == 8:33 a.m. == Then I came here, made the appointment with your secretary and spent the rest of the day alone, thinking. Kakashi said. Who's with me, Naruto? Are they still here? Anko said nervously but excitedly. If someone from her past was following her around, even watching over her, she had to know it was. Naruto turned and looked at Anko. Hi, she's the only ghost here, and I'm sorry, but she doesn't want you to know, not yet. I can't make her tell me anything. Wait. Told me that she'd like you to talk to her sometimes, at least at home, so she doesn't have to follow you around all day. Okay. Tell her about your day, stuff like that, okay. She'll rest during the day, then she'll be in your house at 8 at night. Anko glanced around a moment. Deal, on one condition, she answers a question. Tell me what she says exactly. Was she someone I knew, or was she related to me? Naruto looked in Anko's direction a moment, then his eyes got big and he smiled. She said, unfortunately I'm related to the crazy bitch, because only family would put her for this long. That's all she said, except that if you try any of your usual shit to find out before she wants you to know, you'll never get to talk her like Kakashi did Obit. I really hate being toyed with, but I'll make an exception this time, deal? From now on Brat we're friends, so expect to see me a lot. Anko said. If you're both finished, I have some questions. Sarutobi said. Sorry Hokage-sama. Kakashi and Anko said together. Naruto laughed a moment. Who trained you Naruto? Since I got you that apartment you haven't been seen with anyone, so who taught you the shadow clone jutsu and what else do you know? Sakaunli commanded. Naruto swallowed nervously. He knew that tone, he wanted Naruto to tell him, but he was going to find out no matter what. Hi. I do have a sensei. She said this would Hashe told me I can tell you a little about her, but for now it'll have to be enough. Her name is Hokara. I met her a few days after you got me my apartment. She used to be a kunoichi and lives here in Konoha. She trained me, taught me the shadow clone jutsu, and the other basic jutsu I'd learn at academy. She said I'm a natural and can master any jutsu faster than any adult can. I learned the shadow clone jutsu in like an hour. Oh, I can do some basic seals too, but I just started learning those a few mo ago. That's everything I can tell you right now, I promise. Sarutobi looked at Naruto intently a few moments. He knew there was more, but if Naruto had promised this woman he wouldn't tell him everything, there was virtually no he could do to make Naruto tell him that wouldn't cost him Naruto's trust, and once you lost that with Naruto, even at his age, you had no chance in hell of getting it back. You'll tell me everything eventually though, right? He asked and Naruto nodded. I have your promise on this. Naruto nodded. That's acceptable then. I have one quest. Though, how can a ghost take over a shadow clone as their own body? That shouldn't be possible. I don't really know. Even Hokara doesn't really understand it, but she said my chakra is special, different from everyone else, that's why I can see and talk to ghosts. Maya lets them borrow my shadow clone for a little while, but I don't know anything they did when they leave it or it gets dispelled. That's why I don't know what Obito and Kak talked about. Naruto said. Sarutobi nodded. That made sense. Thank you Naruto Vices, UAC, I think that's enough for now that UN. I almost forgot something Gigi. Hokara told me to tell you that since you know now, not to spy on me or have my apartment watched, she'll know if you do, and she said yes. Very mad and it would cost Fire Country its greatest treasure. I don't know what that is, but she said you'd understand. Naruto said. Sarutobi knew instantly that was no idle threat, the way he phrased it told him that this woman knew who Naruto's parents were and what was sealed inside him, and she likely meant she'd take Naruto from them to another country, and potentially make Naruto an enemy they couldn't beat. Looking closely at Naruto he could tell Naruto didn't know what she meant. If she has as much influence over Naruto as he now suspected, trying to separate them would be a mistake, especially if Naruto chose to fight against them, which meant Kyuubi might be released, and that risk was far too great. Understood. Tell her she has my word we'll do as she asked. Naruto smiled. Thanks Gigi. Is that all? Hi. Dismissed. Sarutobi said calmly, a small smile on his face. Inside, he hoped he made the right choice not to push, but since Naruto had promised to tell him everything eventually and trusted him, he could wait. He didn't like it, but his other choice was lose Naruto's trust, and potentially the lives of many of his shinobi and even civilians. All three nodded and left the office. September 1st, 7:45 a.m. Academy Gate, Naruto age 6 ===. This is the day he'd waited months for, so when he walked into the courtyard past several parents half of them smiled at him and their kid waved. This had started happening about a month after his meeting with the old man and Kakashi, where he also met Anko, when they started hanging out with him publicly. For adults they were both fun, had to pick a favorite it was Anko. The reason, which to his surprise didn't make Hokara upset as he thought, she'd just smile and tell him to make sure no one was serious. Anko had gotten him into pranking. Not everyone, just certain civilians she'd say deserved it for some reason she'd never tell him, and even some of her friends, Chunin and Jonin, and even the old man once, but they only switched his pipe tobacco for some weird smelling type of special tobacco that made him act funny for a while. Then he got hungry. That got him scolded but not really punished. He didn't see Anko for a week after that though. The best part was they both trained him for different things. The only thing was they still didn't know about Hokara, but that morning after breakfast she'd said it was almost time. He even knew all the top jonin, the clan heads, and their kid. He was now looking for, as well as a few others he'd met around Konoha. It was really cool having people, especially adults, that he could talk to and even help occasionally. His gift, even if it was only the handful of shinobi that knew about his gift. They're over there by the tree, Naruto-san. A woman said. Naruto glanced to his left and saw a kunoichi in old armor over a green shirt, brown skirt and leather knee boots. Her black hair hung to her waist. Thanks. Word has spree. About me, I guess. Naruto said quietly, knowing he was just far enough away that no one would hear him. Hi, you're the talk of Konoha, here in the afterlife. We all know you. Didn't Hokara tell you, Naruto, you're famous? She said. Cool. If they all know I can see and talk to them, why don't I see them around me all the time? Naruto said. She got down on her right knee. We're shinobi, and we respect you too much to cause you any trouble. We know what your life was like until you met Hokara. Naruto. 2. Shinobi and kunoichi spirit here and in the afterlife. You're like our cage, and more than that, you have some special friends that would be upset if we caused you true. Matter what, you have friends that will do anything they can for you. Don't let it go to your head though. Remember what you were taught and don't dishonor Hokara. A true shinobi doesn't show off and uses their skills for the good of their friends, family and village, and you'd make Hokara mad. Trust me on this, you never want to see her Now go talk to your friends. Oh, if you want to summon me, my name is Mora Okamishozu. Mora said then vanished. Naruto headed for the big tree near the far left wall where he saw some familiar faces. Hello Naruto-kun. Hinata said with a small smile and brief stutter. She turned her head and smiled, immediately noticing the addition to his wardrobe. He had his usual shinobi sandals, black pants, orange shirt, much better than the jump. Her opinion, and of course the black bandana tied around his forehead where a Hitai would be someday. What was new was the trenchcoat that had to be from Anko. Naruto-kun, I like the new coat. Anko-san got it for you, didn't she? Ino said. Naruto stopped near them. Of course. I kinda like it. Plenty of places to hide weapons in it too. Tenten said. Choji laughed. Hey Naruto. Shikamaru only looked up with his eyes from the ground by Choji. Morning. Hi everybody. Hey, where's Naruto said. Tree. Ino interrupted as she pointed over her shoulder with her thumb, a friendly, disappointed smirk on her face. Troublesome. Shikamaru said. Naruto sighed and walked around to the back side of the tree from his friends where he saw her sitting, hugging her knees nervously. He glanced to his left for a moment, a woman with the gray-streaked, pink hair standing there sadly. He sat next to her, on her left side. What's wrong? I thought you were looking forward to today's Sakura-chan. I am. It's just, you guys are my only friends, the other kids will make fun of me. Sakura said sadly. Naruto glanced up at the ghost woman, smiled and nodded. So no one will notice how short I am. Or that Tenten looks like a mouse and is shorter than me. That Shikamaru has a pineapple head. Naruto said and stopped when started giggling. Okay Naruto-kun. I feel better now, thank you. Sakura said then hugged him. Yeah, thanks Naruto, we all feel better now. Tenten said dryly. Oh go eat some cheese. Ino said with a smirk. How'd you like a haircut Ino? Tenten said, a kunai suddenly in her right hand. Please don't fight. Hinata said. Tenten and Ino both turned at Hinata. The look on her face filled them with guilt. They just hated seeing Hinata sad. You felt like a kicked puppy when she looked at you like, I'm sorry Hinata-chan. They said together. 2 more victims of Hinata-chan's sad face jutsu. Naruto said, standing beside the tree with Sakura. Can you teach me that genjutsu Hinata-chan? Sakura said with a, I'm holding in my laughter. Smile. It isn't a jutsu. Hinata said, blushing brightly. Could have fooled me. Tenten and Ino said in unison, looked at each other, smirked then started laughing. Naruto subtly glanced and smiled at the familiar blue-haired woman standing behind Hinata smiling. I almost forgot Naruto. Dog boy got here about 10 minutes before you did, and a couple minutes before you showed Akamaru took off after a squirrel. Kiba is chasing him. We're heading for those trees last I saw them. Ino said with a smile. Naruto laughed. Thanks Ino-chan, I'll see him in class 1 guess. == 8 a.m. Homeroom == Naruto sat in the third row of the bleacher-style seats, center seat of the middle section. To his right was Ino then Sakura, to his left Tenten, directly behind him was Hinata. Behind her top row was Kiba, who came running in literally at the last second, then Choji, Shikamaru, 2 other kids and then Shino, from his right to left in his seat. Shino. He just didn't see him much. The remaining clan kid he knew a little, not that he hadn't tried, but he was always training, Sasuke Uchiha. His dad was the head of police force and was even less fun than Hiashi. Even Shika's mom Yoshino was more fun, and she was real strict about manners and following the rules while in her house. Was scary too. Not as much as Sume or Anko in a bad mood, but she was close. He did like his mom Makoto, she was nice. Sasuke sat in the front row, center, and to his friend's amusement, he was surrounded by fangirls as expected. He didn't get it, but Ino and Tenten explained it as they liked him because he's a clan heir and cute, in a kinda way. Most girls like that kind of guy. When he asked them why they weren't like the others, Tenten smirked and said she had better things to do. Hinata just looked with a big smile and her face turned red. Sakura said she liked someone else, and Ino, she just laughed like he said something funny. He'd have to ask Hokara about girls. Or his special friends they didn't know about. It wasn't really spying right, they were around anyway. All his friends had a guardian, as he called them, some were every day. Others just a few times a week for a few hours. He stood from his desk. Morning class, I'm Iruka-sensei, your homeroom teacher. Iruka said looking at his class. As he did, 2 faces stood out. First was Tenten, at 7 she's. Started last year. He knew money wasn't the problem because her family ran the best weapon shop in Fire Country, but for some reason her dad had decided to wait a year. Other face almost made him smile, but he held it in, Naruto Uzumaki. It wasn't just because Naruto was his friend, but he had 2 special honors. First, he was one of only a dozen people that knew Naruto could see and speak to the ghosts of shinobi. The other was an even greater honor. He was one of the very few Naruto had let talk with a friend or relative, in his case his parents that had died defending Konoha from Kyuubi, though both he and they were very careful not to reveal that Naruto had Kyuubi within him. If he lived 1,000 years he'd never be able to thank Naruto for that. The best he could figure why he did it, was Naruto had a soft spot for orphans like himself. His clipboard he began taking attendance. == 3:05 p.m. Naruto's apartment == Naruto landed on the roof of his building, glanced at his watch and smiled. He'd gone halfway across Konoha in under 5 minutes, he just wished he could tell his friends how strong he really was. Moving to the edge he glanced around the street below, then dropped down to the porch in front of his door, sent chakra through his feet to the seal standing in so the traps wouldn't activate, then went in before he was seen. How was your first day Naruto-kun? Hokara yelled from the kitchen where she was baking cookies. Naruto took a deep sniff and smiled. Cookies. Thanks Hokara-chan. It was easy. I did just good enough to make the top 5 in all my classes. My favorite class was Taijutsu. Looks like my only real competition is Sasuke Uchiha. Kakashi-sensei was right. Their intercepting fist style is really good. Yours and Anko-chan's are better. I just wish I used them instead of the stuff they teach there. Naruto said as he crossed the room to the kitchen. What did you tell them when they asked how you learned to? Watched closely. He only heard Naruto's half of the conversation, but Hokara, whoever she was, had wanted Naruto to keep his special ability a secret from his Freya several years at least, which he could understand, but since the Uchiha massacre a week ago Sasuke had started down a very dangerous road, Kakashi had notified him 4D ago when he saw the change in the Uchiha boy. Because of Naruto's ability he could help Sasuke in a way no one else could, more than even Kurenai and Inoichi ever could. Yes, Naruto-kun, I know what I said, but this is a special occasion, and you can do something for Sasuke that no one else can. Talk to him today. Get him to meet you there. Academy. Hokara said. Naruto sighed, nodded and turned back to Sarutobi. Hi, I'll do it, but after we're there I want you to make sure we aren't interrupted, and I don't want anyone watching. Naruto said firmly. Done. 3:30. Sarutobi said, and Naruto nodded. Thank you, Naruto. I'll mark this on your record as AC rank and you'll be paid for it. Dismissed. You don't want to. Late. Sarutobi said. Naruto looked at her a moment, then back to him. Hokara told me to tell you that they'll be watching closely, and if anyone spies on us that person will spend the rest of life in a living hell, and will go there when they die. Those are her words, not mine. Sarutobi swallowed the lump in his throat. That was a threat far beyond anyone's ability to deal with. Understood. You have my word. Sarutobi said, saw Naruto leave, and moment the door was shut he slumped in his chair and wiped the sweat that just appeared on his forehead. It was now very clear that Naruto had access to, and possibly control of, an army of shinobi ghosts vast beyond mortal comprehension, and if he ever learned to harness that power there would be absolutely nothing he couldn't do. EV. Combined power of the nine-tailed beasts was nothing by comparison. I'm definitely getting too old for this shit. 3:30 p.m. Konoha Memorial Cemetery. I'm here, Naruto. So what do you want to talk to me about you couldn't do earlier? Sasuke said, visibly annoyed. I have an ability I haven't told anyone about except Hokage-sama, the Jonin and clan heads, including your parents. Naruto said, but wasn't surprised when Sasuke grabbed his shirt and got in his face. Watch what you say, Naruto. Sasuke said strongly. You probably won't believe me, but I can see and talk to the ghosts of shinobi and brought you here so you can talk to your mom. Naruto said, then found himself laying the grass with a sore jaw where Sasuke hit him. Shutup liar. No one can do that. Sasuke yelled, full of churning emotions, being the strongest. Your mom is here now watching. I can prove it if you give me a chance. Naruto said as he stood up, watching Sasuke closely. Sasuke stood there a moment. He didn't want to believe it, but everything he knew about Naruto told him Naruto didn't lie. He pushed down his emotions as best he could. Naruto, prove it, but if this is a trick the only dead person here will be you. I'm a lot stronger than everyone thinks I am. I can do the shadow clone jutsu. I make a shadow clone, and a ghost enters it and it turns into their body, or looks like the still a clone, but it's of them, not me. I have no control of it while they're in it. Naruto said. Sasuke growled a moment as he clenched his jaw. Finding out Naruto had been holding back that much was nearly as annoying as the rest. You can't tell anyone any of this, Sasuke. It's a S-ranked village secret, and you'd be executed if you did. Hokage-sama asked me to do this for you. Promise me you won't. Anyone what happened here and I'll train with you in private and I won't hold back. And I'll let you talk to your mom anytime you want as long as it's somewhere no one. Her. Naruto said seriously. Sasuke looked at Naruto with everything he had, and as best he could tell Naruto wasn't lying, and if he wasn't this was probably the only chance he'd get to talk to his M. Still don't totally believe you, but if you can really do what you said, you have a deal. Sasuke said. He'd seen his brother and a few others use it, and Naruto did it the way. A copy of him appeared in a puff of smoke, then a few moments later it started shaking, as if in pain, but instead of dispelling, it grew and changed right before his EY. His mother, Makoto Uchiha, in the clothes she'd had on the last time he saw her alive that morning a week ago. His eyes got big as saucers. Hello my fire chibi, I'm so sorry Itachi did this to us and then made you relive it over and over. Makoto said in a loving, motherly voice. I'm impossible. Nobody knows you called me that, or what he did to me. Sasuke said in stunned shock, then swallowed the huge lump in his throat as tears formed. Eyes. Ka-san. Sasuke said nervously. Makoto smiled, nodded, kneeled and held her arms out for a hug. She braced herself when he rushed her and hugged her hard. If she didn't, or wasn't careful, he'd accident. Dispel her body. Careful dear. Not too hard you'll dispel me. Makoto said in her usual playful voice and giggled in a unique way, as only she did. Naruto smiled and held in his laugh at how Makoto giggled. He always thought it was funny the few times he'd heard it. Sasuke eased up on his hug, but didn't release it, and despite the fact Naruto was there to see it, cried even harder. That's it, let it all out. I'm so very sorry I won't be there in person to watch you grow up, but I'll always be around to watch over you. Makoto said. Naruto watched them. While he'd told the truth, what he'd made was his newly perfected version. While the master seal on his chest wasn't visible, it wouldn't transfer to a clone's, only the secondary chakra seal would. It would allow Makoto to stay in that body as long as he allowed her to or she was dispelled. Kyuubi had said he could make dozen of these clones at once with, depending on how many and how strong they were alive, with anywhere from 30% to full because the chakra seal had one tail worth of C stored in it, but wouldn't give them access to more than they had in life. In Makoto's case, being a retired mid-level jonin at the time, she had her full strength available. Thought it was great, though he hoped he'd never need to use them. There were fail-safes built into the seals. 6:28 p.m. I promise I won't do it alone, but can't you stay a little longer? 3 hours wasn't enough. Sasuke said. I'm sorry, but I've imposed on Naruto-kun long enough, and as a mother I can't let either of you stand here all night hungry. You'll see me again soon, Sasuke-kun, and I'll be around. You just won't be able to see me. I love you. Makoto said sadly, then dispelled the clone, leaving her spirit that only Naruto could see. I love you too, Ka-san. Sasuke said and smiled, before turning to Naruto. Tell anyone I cried and I'll kick your butt. Naruto nodded, smiling, then his stomach growled, loudly. Come on. I'll buy you supper. It's the least I can do for what you did. Sasuke said. Deal, if we go to Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto said happily. Sasuke laughed a moment as he shook his head slowly. Fine, but you're buying next time. I've seen how much you can eat and I'm not gonna let you eat my family fortune. Bottomless pit. Deal. Naruto said with a big smile, then nodded to the smiling Makoto and Hokara who'd shown up after Makoto dispelled. October 11th, 4:04 p.m. Konoha Woods, Naruto age 8 The moment the chakra cloak faded, Naruto fell to his hands and knees breathing hard. Behind him the ghost of a blonde woman with a dark green shirt, brown pants and B armor. Naruto quickly caught his breath, stood and turned to her. Wow. So what did you do? I feel a little different. This is something Hokara has been working on for the last year with help from Kyuubi and some other special friends. That's why she wouldn't let you go in her room. I'll you how to do it later. Look at your chest. That small seal above the master seal is what Hokara calls a bloodline seal. A portion of my power is permanently sealed within. Is connected to your chakra coils. It will allow you to use my clan's special jutsu if you mix it with your own chakra first. You'll need practice to learn to do it, but it's similar. What you do now, so you should master it quickly. Once you do it, I'll teach you to do my wood-style jutsu just like Yamato-san does. Happy birthday, Naruto-san, she said. Naruto's eyes got big, then he smiled and made a hand sign. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto said, and a single clone appeared in a puff of smoke half the size of normal. You've been working on your chakra control. There was much less smoke than normal. That's for me, I assume. She said. Naruto nodded and she possessed his shadow C. For the first time, Naruto watched his clone change into her and smiled at her reaction. She ran her hands up her body from her hips, then under her armor from the sides and squeezed her full breasts, moaning in pleasure the entire time, then suddenly calm. Herself, embarrassed, ignoring his smirk. I'm sorry, Naruto. I didn't mean to act like that, but an afterlife body, as great as it is, just isn't the same as the real thing, please. Tell anyone I acted like a slut. Don't worry, Hokara explained it to me. You've been without a body for a long time and getting one can be too exciting to resist. I have a question though, why can Yamato teach me? Naruto said. Simple. As strong as he wasn't born with that ability, just like Kakashi and his Sharingan and I was the daughter of our clan head, I know more jutsu than he. And know every secret of our power and how it works. Now, I was told you have an unusual affinity. October 10th, 5:02 p.m., Naruto's apartment building, roof, Naruto age 10 . So what do you think? Do y'all like it? Naruto said to his 11 guests. How did you do this, and when? Ino said almost blankly. How is a secret for now? I started this garden a year ago. Naruto said. Ino spun around facing him. Impossible. Half these flowers can only be found in the Yamanaka clan garden, and this is at least 3 years of growth in this location. Naruto smiled. I guess my thumb is greener than yours. I'll tell everyone how I did it later, but for now have a look around my garden. Shino, I have some interesting bug. Here you can talk to. You can have a few if they'll join you, but don't take too many, they keep the pests away. I'll be downstairs, take as long as you want. Naruto said, too, and went through the door to the stairs leading to his penthouse apartment. Naruto's apartment . Naruto walked into his living room from the stairs, heading for the couch where most of the remaining guests were. Was I right? Inoichi said. Hi, Inoichi-san. Ino-chan did just what you said she would. When they get done and come back I'll tell everyone how I did it. Naruto said. But you couldn't have done it without us. Anko said. Naruto looked to his right a moment. Hokara and I want to thank everyone again for buying the building for me and having it renovated. The last year has been great with this room, and since the first 3 floors are suites like mine, any of you are welcome to buy one from me since I know some of you live in small apartments. Both of us love having neighbors. Could you add a section to the garden for me? I've always wanted a real rose garden. Kurenai said. Of course. Meet me at the tower after Academy and you'll be moved in by dinner. Oh. Bring your checkbook. Naruto said and smirked. Kurenai smirked and nodded. 6:38 p.m. Naruto looked at the 3 recovering girls. The remaining girl actually surprised him a little. It doesn't bother you, Tenten? No. I think it's really cool. I'd rather not tell you here, but I have a hobby that kinda goes with this. Come by my house tomorrow just before sunset and I'll show you. Ten said quietly. Hi. Are you okay, Hinata? Ino. Sakura. Do you have any questions? Naruto said. Hinata stood and nervously stepped up to Naruto. Hi. Have you talked to my mother? Naruto turned to Sarutobi. Can I? They were going to find out anyway and she deserves this. Hi. Sarutobi said. Hinata looked at Naruto, getting more nervous by the second. You 3 better sit down first. Thank you. I have. You've all had someone around you since you were little. For you, Hinata-chan, it was your mother. Before you do anything, let me finish. There's something else. I'm a lot stronger than most of you know. Sasuke knows already. I told him 3 years ago after his clan was killed. Naruto said. Everyone turned and looked at Sasuke, stunned. You can talk later, okay? You all know about Bushin, how they're illusions. I can do an advanced version called the Shadow Clone Jutsu that makes solid copies. They can how it works later, but I can do something no one else can. My chakra is special. It'll be easier if I just show you. Naruto said, stepped back a little, then made a single clone with only a small puff of smoke that cleared instantly. He nodded. The other kids watched in shock as the clone changed into a Hyuga woman, with 2 exceptions. Sasuke had seen it hundreds of times with his mother, and to say Hinata W. Stunned to see Naruto change into her mother would be an understatement of epic proportions. Ka-san, is it really you? Hinata said very nervously. She was literally shaking. Hi. My lil tulip Heim. Hannah said as she kneeled. Tears suddenly poured down Hinata's cheeks. Until that moment no one knew her mother used to call her that. It was all the proof she needed. Kurenai watched. A small tear ran down each cheek. She knew Hinata would trample her and Naruto to death to get to her mother. She knew there was no one more impure. Hinata. Naruto watched Hinata explode from where she was standing. He'd expected this reaction from her and had used one of his special clones. Nothing short of a fatal strike or be pierced by a weapon would dispel her. And just to be sure she had her full Jonin power as she had in life. Everyone just stood and watched for almost 6 minutes as Hinata just hugged her mother and cried happily. May I have a moment with her, Hinata-chan? He asked politely. It's okay, Hinata-chan. I won't leave you. Hannah said. Hinata reluctantly broke her hug, kissed her cheek and nodded. Hannah stood and walked up to him. Hello Hiyashi-kun. I missed you. I missed you too, Hannah-chan. Hiyashi said, smiled and hugged her. I got my family back. Hinata said. No you didn't. Naruto said, knowing he was about to crush Hinata emotionally, but he had to. But she's back. Hinata said strongly. Hannah broke her hug then kissed Hiyashi and went to Hinata. I'm truly sorry Hinata-chan, but this is temporary. I'm only borrowing this body, but it isn't real, only a Sha clone. May I tell them what you and Hokara-chan found Naruto-sama? Hi. Naruto said with a touch of sadness. As Hokage-sama and the others know, we can temporarily take over one of Naruto's shadow clones as our own body, with all our skills, abilities and jutsu, but this is temp. And we can be dispelled. What they don't know is, there's a way we can be brought back to life as real as anyone in the room, but there's a price to pay to do it. Hannah. Sadly. Someone has to die so you can use their body. Sarutobi said. Hi. I can place a seal on a body that will allow a spirit to take it over and use it as their original, just like they do my shadow clones. The possession is permanent and can dispelled, but our research suggests the best option for this is they had to have died recently, and they were a shinobi, gender doesn't matter. We figured this out almost 3 ago, so do you see why I didn't tell you? Naruto said. Sarutobi, the Jonin and clan heads all nodded. No, but that's great Naruto. No one has to die anymore, we can bring back. Hinata said. No Hinata-chan. Hannah interrupted. You're too troublesome Naruto. Why'd you ruin things? Shikamaru said tiredly. Everyone turned to Shikamaru. When did you figure it out? Naruto said, almost smiling. That you can see ghosts. Almost 3 years ago. I may be lazy, but just because I look like I'm sleeping doesn't mean I am. I notice things other people miss, like the. You sometimes look like you're listening to someone that isn't there, and know things no one else does. You're smart, but some of the things you say could only have come from someone much older. I also figured out why you can do it. It's the only reason that makes sense, but I won't reveal that, it isn't my place, and it's probably classified any. Shikamaru said calmly. Naruto turned and looked at Sarutobi and the others. They all shared a knowing glance and the same thought. He knows about Kyuubi. You're too smart for your own good sometimes, Shika. Naruto said. Tell me about it. Shikamaru said tiredly and sighed. Don't ask. Naruto will tell you when he's ready. That's an order. Sarutobi said firmly. All the kids, except Naruto, nodded. There's also the cost. Or did you forget someone has to die for someone else to come back, which brings up questions of ethics, morality, and other issues. Kakashi said. Hinata-chan, look at it this way. Let's take a best case. We're on a mission, we get attacked, we kill just one of the enemy shinobi and let's say his spirit goes to hell. Read this, we seal his body in a scroll and complete the mission, then back at Konoha I use his body to bring someone important back, your mother for example. How often do I think this will happen? There's also the person we want to bring back. Will they even want to come back? And if they do, are they willing to live with the sacrifice, even if it went me? I can't force anyone to do this. Naruto said. There's also the risk to Naruto when the other villages find out what he can do and we're bringing our dead shinobi back to life. Hannah said. Hinata's eyes got big as saucers at that last thought. I understand. I'm sorry Ka-san. Naruto-kun. Really? They're sure. Naruto said. What is it Naruto? Do they want something? Tenten said. Hi. Hokara just told me that because of how you all handled this, I can give some of you a chance to spend the evening with someone you lost. Naruto said. Everyone was stunned by this news. The kids, clan heads and even Sarutobi were dumbstruck by this opportunity. 7 p.m. Okay, if everyone is sure, and you're all ready. Naruto said and looked at everyone a few moments before they all nodded. Naruto glanced back at the summoned souls, counted them, then focused and made the hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto said and they appeared in small puffs of smoke that dissipated in a few seconds. Sarutobi and the other shinobi noticed how little chakra was wasted in their summon. They were all very impressed his chakra control was so precise and efficient. Naruto let out a breath. Before you ask, Hokara-chan isn't going to show herself to everyone, you'll have to wait for graduation, and don't bother asking any of them Abadi won't tell you. Naruto said seriously, turned to his friend's end of the line of clones across from the others and nodded. Not in line with the others was Hinata, standing with her mother Hana. First to appear was Makoto Uchiha who walked out and hugged Sasuke before joining Hinata and Hana in the open part of the living room. Clone 2 became Hizashi Hyuga, who went to hug Neji first. Clone 3 became Sakuri Haruno, Sakura's great-grandmother and founder of the unofficial Haruno clan. Clone 4 became Obito Uchiha who headed for Kakashi. Clone 5 became Aramaru Inuzuka, Tsume's husband and Kiba's dad. He immediately ran to the stunned Tsume with a hug and a kiss so passionate everyone could literally. Clone 6 became Kaomi Mitarashi, Enko's grandmother and who first met Naruto in the waiting room of the Hokage Tower. Clone 7 became Inoko Yamanaka, Ino's great-grandmother and co-founder of the Yamanaka clan. Could all the non-clone adults come to the front please? The last person is very special and deserves a proper greeting. Naruto said, waited for everyone to move after give him a curious look, then turned and nodded to the last spirit. When Clone 8 changed, the adults gasped in shock, but none were more emotionally blown away than Hiruzen Sarutobi, when Bawako Sarutobi, his deceased wife, greeted. With a smile. By the end of the night every female there had kissed Naruto at least twice. Several said things that turned his face red. October 11th. Sunset. Tenten's house. Good evening Kusha-san, Tenten is expecting me. Naruto said. I told you to call me Kusha-chan, you're the only reason my lil Ten-chan even acts like a girl. Kusha said. Mom. Tenten interrupted from inside, obviously embarrassed. Naruto smirked. That was mean, but funny. Naruto whispered. Hi, if you insist Kusha-chan. He said then was led into the living room where Tenten was sitting. Kusha suddenly had a large kitchen knife in her right hand. I'm trusting you two alone in her room, no funny business. Now, I'm making some snacks, would you like so? Kusha said, casually pointing the knife at Naruto. If I did, getting away from you, intact, would be the least of my worries. Naruto said calmly. Hokara. Have fun then, but not too much. Kusha said, giggled, then headed for the kitchen. She's pretty scary. Naruto said as he walked with Tenten towards her bedroom. Tell me about it. You should have seen her when I used her best kitchen knives to train with. Tenten said. Naruto shivered a moment as a chill went down his spine. Then I can assume you weren't sick that week we were off. No, I wasn't. Promise you won't tell anyone that, and after graduation I'll show you the scars. Tenten said. Naruto stopped outside her bedroom door. Deal. Naruto said then followed her in, he'd never been in her room before. Hinata was a neat freak, but compared to Tenten's room it was filthy. Wow. And I thought Hinata-chan kept her room clean, so what's the big secret? Tenten smiled and shut her door. Thanks. I actually have two I want to tell you. The first I mentioned yesterday is my hobby, it's called astrology. Astrology? Doesn't that have something to do with when we were born? Naruto said. Tenten giggled. That's part of it. The other reason I want to talk to you is since you shared your secret with us, I want to share mine, but no one knows this, not even my parents. Tenten said and got a little nervous. Whatever it is, do you want me with you when you tell them? I'm assuming that's why you're telling me first. Naruto said and Tenten nodded. I'll be there to help you. Whatever it is, I can handle it, trust me on this. Naruto said sincerely. Tenten nodded. She knew he meant it. You know the forest west of the northern gate where that cabin is we own. Tenten said and Naruto nodded. A year ago I found something in the hollow of that big tree. December 27th, 5 p.m., Hyuga compound . My present to you, Hinata-chan. I'm going to train you in my personal style. Hana said calmly. Your personal style? Father never. Hinata said, half interrupting, surprised. He doesn't know it. As I said, this is my fighting style. I stopped using it when I married Hiyashi. Like you, I have a strong water affinity, but I also have a strong wind affinities what I'll develop in you to use Hishukanuken. Hana said with a smile. Hinata's eyes got bigger. Flying silk fist. I mastered it, but you're going to perfect it. I can't always be here to train you, so I've arranged for you to get some help from the only other person in the world that know my former sensei. You still have a week left of vacation, so tomorrow morning I want you at this address. Hana said as she reached for a pocket. January 3rd, 10:01 a.m., Academy, Homeroom, Naruto, age 12 . First let me congratulate everyone on passing. I'll assign teams then you'll meet your sensei. Iruka said. Naruto listened to Iruka read off names. Everyone knew the first 6 teams were the minor teams. It was teams 7 to 10 that got the best missions as they'd be composed of of the class. There was nothing wrong with the first teams, it was just how things were. Shinobi life was hard, and not everyone was cut out to be an elite ninja. Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha, Neji Hyuga and Sakura Haruno. Your sensei is Kakashi Hatake. Iruka said. That's an interesting team. Naruto said as he compiled the abilities of the 2 team members. Team 8 will be Kiba Inuzuka, Shikamaru Nara and Ino Yamanaka. Your sensei is Kurenai Yuhi. Iruka said. Looks like a recon and tracking team, very useful. Naruto said then smirked at Shika's and Ino's reactions. Team 9 will be Rock Lee, Shino Aburame and Choji Akamichi. Your sensei is Might Guy. Kami help you? Iruka said. Yes. Lee exclaimed fiercely. The rest of the room sighed or shook their head. Team 10 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hyuga and Tenten. Your sensei is Kosuke Yamanaka. Iruka said. Naruto perked up at the mention of his name, then smiled when his teammates were named. Yes. Naruto said with some excitement, then looked at his teammates and exchanged smiles with them. Ino glanced at them, mainly Naruto. Aunt Kosuke is taking on a team again. Naruto turned to Ino. Is that good or bad, Ino-chan? Oh, that's good, very good, she's the best. Ino said then smiled and started laughing. I don't like the way Ino's laughing. Tenten said, slightly nervous as she knew Ino well. We'll be FNE, just be respectful, do what she says, and follow my lead. Naruto said. Hinata and Tenten nodded. You'll have until 11 to get acquainted with your new teammates when your sensei will arrive to pick you up. Afterwards you're dismissed. Good luck everyone. Iruka saw, straightened his desk, picked up some papers and left. Naruto watched everyone move to seats near their teammates, picking their leader for various reasons based on each team. Neji and Sakura moved to Sasuke. Ino was near Shikamaru, so she just called over Kiba, who reluctantly obeyed. Naruto smirked as he read Kiba's lips when he mumbled about having to deal with pushy bitches all now. But he knew Kiba wasn't being mean. Most of the alphas in his clan were female, his older sister Hana and mother Sum in particular, especially since Sum was CL head and anyone with half a brain didn't challenge her. His new sensei Kurenai was similar, but she was known for her patience. She wasn't a woman you messed with for a different reason than Sum. The new Team 9 was the exception because of Lee. While not a natural leader, he already had an established relationship with Guy, as obvious by his clothes, appearance and speech. He figured Shino would be the cool head and voice of reason on the team, and possible team leader. Lee might also take th. spot. He had the potential because he patterned himself after Guy down to the smallest trait, which was almost scary sometimes, but despite Guy's quirky personality, there. One thing about Might Guy you never questioned, and that was how much he cared for his apprentices. He treated them like his own children, and if you hurt them, may Ka have mercy on your soul, because Guy wouldn't. Naruto wasn't surprised when Hinata and Tenten moved to him. Both were strong and capable, but he already had the XP and training, not to mention how both girls felt about him. 11 a.m. Ladies first, I insist. A strong male voice said from the hallway. Naruto turned to the door like everyone else did. His eyes opened a little wider when the just mentioned lady walked in. Black kunoichi sandals, bare legs up to mid-thigh W. The hem of a dark blue kunoichi battle kimono was black shinobi belt, obviously custom made. The top of the kimono loosely covered a very impressive chest. The low versus knee showed a little cleavage and an armored mesh shirt. It was sleeveless, but she wore armored elbow-length fingerless black gloves, a steel plate on the back on both hands. Face was like an older, more mature Ino, sky blue eyes, bright blonde hair in a top-knot ponytail down to her waist. Around her forehead a leaf hit ite. She appeared to be late 20s, early 30s at most, her body perfectly sculpted. He'd never met her before but had no doubts about who she had to be. I'm Kousuke Yamanaka, sensei of Team 10. I want my team to meet me at Training Ground 13 in no later than 10 minutes from. Now. Kousuke said. Now, just as T-clock struck 11:01, and vanished. Naruto immediately stood, grabbed his things, and with a nod to the girls they ran for the door, passing Might Guy standing in the hallway smiling in amusement. As they crossed the front grounds Tenten spoke. Naruto, do you know where Training Ground 13 is? Hi. A 10-minute run from here for most genin, but we aren't most genin. Follow me and don't hold back. Naruto said just before they exited the academy grounds. 11:09 a.m. Training Ground 13 . They stopped by the biggest tree, 20 yards inside the clearing that was Training Ground 13, Naruto breathing deeply, but not winded. Tenten was breathing heavy and only tired. Hinata was breathing the heaviest, bent forward, hands on her knees for support, but smiling and only a little sweaty. So how did we do, Kousuke-sensei? Did we imp you? Naruto said casually. Hinata and Tenten looked around but didn't see her. Kousuke appeared, smirking. Hokage-sama told me it would beat work on you, Naruto. I'm impressed. Most jonin can't keep me from hearing their surface thoughts. She try. You very well. Your mind is very disciplined. Even now I can't read you. You can hear our thoughts. Tenten said, a little shocked. Hi. Not all Yamanaka can do it, but I have the gift. Among other techniques I can hear surface thoughts. And no, Ino can't do it, Hinata. Kousuke said. Hinata gasped. Kousuke closed her eyes a moment. For now I turned it off. I don't want you getting too nervous to pass your final test. Final test? Aren't we already genin, Kousuke-sensei? Tenten said curiously. No, not until you pass my test will you officially be a team. Kousuke said. And if we fail? Hinata said with a slight stutter. You all go back to the academy for another 6 months before you can try again. Before you ask, I can't tell you what he test or what I need to see from you, each sense. Different test. Naruto, I must insist that you do this yourself, no help from your special friends. Kousuke said. Hi, Kousuke-sensei. Naruto said. Now, how about I take you 3 to lunch, you must be hungry. Kousuke said, then smiled when Tenten and Hinata's sweat dropped. Aren't they just adorable? Naruto thought. Yes they. How do you know I was still reading you? Kousuke thought to Naruto, genuinely surprised. Ino's great-grandmother taught me a few things. Don't worry, only a few living people know, even my friends don't know everything I can do. Naruto thought. Did you somewhere in mind, Kousuke-sensei? Naruto said. I do. When I became a genin, my sensei introduced me to a tradition his sensei did during the last war. While you are genin, you aren't Team 10 until you pass my test. Want to get to know a little about you all first. I will tell you that you're only my second team. The first I had was many years ago, shortly after I became a jonin. So if you're, follow me, Kowski said. Equals 11:32 a.m. The shadow room equals. This is a bar. We can't go in here. Tenten said. Actually, it's a shinobi-only bar, and yes you can. As genin you're all legally adults now. Kowski said. Tenten swallowed nervously. Hi, Kowski-sensei. Come on Hinata-chan. Hinata nodded nervously and followed her teammates and sensei inside. Once inside, Tenten glanced around. It wasn't quite what she expected, which told her Anko didn't come here much, if at all, based on the stories she'd heard. Kowski-sen. Why did you bring us here? There are a lot of great restaurants just down the street. True, but there are certain things I like that I can only get here. Kowski said, then lead them to a table in the back left corner. She took the corner seat, Tenten to her left. Hinata to her right, Naruto across from her. Morning Kowski-san. These your kids? The brunette waitress said. Yes, I'm treating them to lunch to get to know 'em before their final test. I'll have a number 4, and gimme 3 number 7 specials. Kowski said. The waitress smirked. Hi, that'll be about 20 minutes. She said and left. 32 minutes later. I gotta use the bathroom. Excuse me Kusheki-sens. Hinata said, her speech a little slurred. Me too. I can't seem to hold my SSS sake. Tenten said, giggled, then stood with Hinata, wobbling a little. I think I'm. What does Anko-chan call it? Oh yeah, I'm shit-faced. Hinata said, then giggled and staggered to the bathroom with Tenten. Naruto looked at the table. It had only been 10 minutes, but Hinata and Tenten couldn't seem to stop drinking their sake. Both were already almost finished their second bottle. Something was making them thirsty. He'd had as much sake as them, but he was stone sober. Thanks to Kyuubi, he couldn't get drunk unless he wanted to, a fact not in his records. He'd never touched a drop of sake as far as anyone knew, anyone living anyway, but he'd seen Anko and Kakashi enough to know how to act. I think I have a high tolerance for it than the girls. How about you, sensei? Naruto said. Not bad for your first time. If you all pass, I'll have to remember that for missions out of Konoha. Kowski said and downed another shot of her sake. She picked up her B. Tipped it and pouted. Empty. You stay here while I get another bottle. Naruto nodded, watched her get up and head for the bar with only a slight stagger. I wonder. Naruto said to himself, finishing his thought in his head. You clumsy little bitch. A powerful female voice yelled. Naruto turned and saw a near 6 feet woman with wild, waist-length black hair, black leather jacket, unzipped to show her at least F-cup breasts straining against a dark blue SP bra, black leather skirt, armored shinobi gloves, shinobi sandals and black metal shin guards. When she turned toward him slightly, her hair moved, revealing a leaf Hittite-studded, black leather collar. The red fang mark on her cheek and distinctive eyes told him she was an Inuzuka. Hinata said, then screamed when she was slapped down. You think you can treat people like shit because you're a Hyuga? That dog doesn't bark in this place, you arrogant little cunt. That broken bottle of sake on the floor cost $100, and you're going to reimburse me or I'll take it out of your ass, and your little slut girlfriend too. She said, full of anger. It was an accident, and you ran into us, bitch. Tenten said after helping Hinata up. Do you little pussies have any idea who I am? Rukari Inuzuka. And I'm the meanest, toughest, bitch in the place. You're going to cough up 1,000, or I'm gonna get N. Rukari said and clenched her fists, cracking her knuckles. I don't have that much. Tenten said. I'll pay her, Tenten. I don't want you getting because of me. Hinata said, then started patting her coat, then her belt. I can't find my money. Tenten. Go check the bath, maybe I dropped it in. Forget it. You ain't going anywhere. Keep the money. I saw you sitting with the blonde pup. He agrees to be mine for the night, and I'll let you two walk out of here as functional females. Rukari said with a perverted feral smile. Never. Naruto-kun is mine. You'll touch him over my dead body. Hinata yelled fiercely, the sake clouding her judgment. Mine too. Tenten said strongly. Oh, the little bitches have some teeth after all. Then I agree to your terms, this is gonna be fun. Rukari said, then flashed through few hand signs. Beast mimicry. SSA'd. Took on a more feral appearance, the dropped into a low crouch, fangs bared in a feral, predatory smile, clawed open hands ready to slash. Hot damn, a fight. I didn't miss anything good, did I? A female voice called out. Everyone turned to the door. Anko. You're just in time. Rukari's about to tear a couple genin girls apart. A man said. Anko ran up to the front of the group. They parted to let her through. The moment she saw them, her eyes scanned the room and found her favorite brat, this Brata SN. Her lips. Who's their sensei? Anko yelled fiercely. I am. Kowski said from the bar. Why didn't you step in? Anko demanded. You know the special rule as well as I do, Anko. Kowski said. Her expression subtly changed for a moment as she did. Anko's eyebrows raised subtly as she realized what was going on. Damn it. Anko said angrily. If I can't stop it, I can do this. Two fresh, drunk, genin girls against Ruka. Inazuka isn't a fair fight, even in my book. I'll say this once, Rukari. I don't care what started this. You wanna kick their asses, fine, but cripple either of them, or kill one. One will stop me from killing you. Anko said and pushed up her left sleeve, showing the snake summoning tattoo, her face emotionless. Fine. I can always add to my nipple collection another time. I'm still putting the little bitches in the hospital though. Rukari said, then turned back to the girls. Want me to help Hinata-chan? Tenten-chan. Say the word and I'm there. Naruto said from his table. We go or Naruto-kun. Hinata said, drawing out the in-kun with a slight slurring. Tenten nodded and took her fighting stance. Hinata activated her Byakugan and dropped into her gentle fist stance. Are you too sure you want to do this? Kowski said. Both girls nodded. Without Naruto. Kowski said. We can't have him bailing us out every time we get in trouble, we have to get strong too. Hinata said strongly, partially focusing through the sake haze clouding her min. Naruto-kun would cause too much damage anyway. She's a bitch, but she's a leaf kunoichi too. Tenten said. Naruto smiled. Rukari turned her head back towards Kowski. Seen enough, Kowski-chan. Rukari said with a smile. Hi. Kowski said. Stood and walked over to them, obviously totally sober. Congratulations Team 10, you pass. Hinata and Tenten looked at their sensei confused. I figured as much. She set us up from the start, this was our test. Naruto said, walking over to them. He's right. I arranged this before I came to get you. Rukari bumped into you intentionally to start a fight, after I got you both a little drunk. Kowski said. And Anko-chan. Tenten said. I didn't know until a minute ago when she tipped me off. Why do you think you were so 30? Anko said, smirking. The girls stood up, looked at each other a few moments, then both let out an, I'm stupid, sigh. The special. Both said. I was drinking diluted sake. It was mostly water, but it had to smell right. I know about Naruto's nose, he's almost as good as the Inazuka, which this was designed to foo. Smell. Kowski said. Tenten let out a big sigh. Good, because without my weapons to throw, I was worried I'd need new clothes. Everyone laughed. Kowski walked up to them as she pulled something from her belt pouch. Here, take these pills, girls, they'll clear the sake from your bodies in about 5 minutes. Both girls took a pill from her hand and swallowed it. As they did, Rukari cancelled her clan jutsu and changed back to her normal appearance. This is gonna make a great story. Anko said, then quickly moved to Naruto, put him in a headlock with her left arm and noogied his head with her right fist. I knew you'd. It brat. And now that you're all legal, I'm taking you somewhere decent to eat. Naruto pulled free, smirking. Ichiraku's. Of course. You'll need your strength for the party tonight. I know the girls are looking forward to it. Both girls smiled happily and nodded. Party. Rukari said, suddenly smiling. I know we just met, and not in the best way, but I was just doing my job, it wasn't personal. I'd really like to join you, if you'll me. Anko, you know this isn't just a party, or did you forget what else is happening? Naruto said seriously. Kousuke and Rukari looked at Naruto, then Anko, confused. What wasn't I told? Kousuke said seriously. Not here. Come on, let's take this somewhere private. Anko said and headed for the door. Kousuke motioned for them to follow her, nodded to Rukari, then went after Anko. 12:38 p.m. Konoha Park. So you're who sis is always going on about. Rukari said, then saw the slight confusion on Naruto's face. She's my adopted older sister. Long story, I'll tell you antime. I give you my word as a special Jonin and Inuzuka I won't tell anyone. Naruto nodded and smiled. Good enough, you're invited, Sume knows the time and place. Tell me something. Why Chain? That's not really a name I'd expect an Inuzuka have. I have a very special gift. Get your pack established, then come see me and we'll exchange favors. Rukari said, gave him a very sexual, feral smile and nodded to Kaus. Moment Kousuke cancelled her cloak of silence, she vanished in a swirl of leaves. Naruto sighed. She's as bad as you are, Anko-chan. Anko laughed. Yes she is. 1:30 p.m. Naruto's . Naruto opened the door and walked in. Can my new teammates have dinner with us tonight? Of course they. Hokara said. Paused then screamed happily, came flying out of the bedroom, jumped the couch, scooped him up in her arms, hugging and kissing him. Naruto blushed. Totally embarrassed. Hinata and Tenten stood there in shock a moment, then both looked at the other and started giggling, until a chakra spike froze them in place with fear. Both looked up at suddenly very intimidating red-haired woman. Naruto. Shut the door and seal the room, the four of us are going to have a talk. Now. Hokara said strongly. You must be Hokara-san. A pleasure to meet you. Hinata said then bowed deeply. Tenten exceeded Hinata's bow, literally folding herself in half at the waist, and stayed that way. You surprised me. I was about to tell you, honest. Naruto said, a little nervous himself. All of you. Couch, now. Might as well get some of this over now. Hokara said.